Wait, hold on a second. Are you sitting down because what I'm about to tell you might just flip everything you thought you knew about the Browns? So apparently, a recent DNA test suggests that Logan Brown, yes, Logan, might not actually be Kody's son. I mean, I know it sounds insane, right? But stick with me because there's a lot to unpack here. Think about it. All these years, Kody has been this larger-than-life patriarch, calling the shots, controlling the narrative, managing his plural family like it's some carefully scripted reality show. And here we are, suddenly questioning whether Logan, one of the key children in the storyline, might not even be biologically his. The implications are huge. I don't know about you, but I had to reread the headline like 3 times. It's one of those moments where you pause and go, wait, what? And that, my friends, is exactly why we're diving into today's discussion. Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're ready because today we are going deep into some sister wives drama that is absolutely shocking. And if you've been following the family, you already know that nothing is ever as straightforward as it seems. Seriously. So here's the theory we're diving into today. Logan Brown's DNA test might reveal that he isn't Kody's biological son. Now, I know that sounds like a bombshell, and it really is, but when you start looking at the patterns, the family dynamics, and the little hints over the years, some things actually start to make sense. And yes, we're going to talk about every single angle of this, because this isn't just about biology, it's about relationships, secrets, and the ripple effects for everyone in the family. Now, before we go any further, grab your snacks, sit tight, and get ready, because we're going to break this down piece by piece, exactly like the kind of deep dive you can't miss. And don't worry, I'm not just giving you the rumors. We're analyzing the context, the reactions, and what it could all mean for the Browns moving forward. So let's set the stage a little. Logan Brown, for those who might not remember all the details, is one of Kody's children with his third wife, Robyn. He's been part of the sister wives storyline for years, and fans have watched him grow up right in front of the cameras. Logan has often been portrayed as one of the quieter kids, but he's also been at the center of certain family tensions, especially when it comes to favoritism, responsibilities, and Kody's complex parenting style. Now, Logan's name has rarely been in the dramatic headlines compared to his siblings, but the dynamics around him have always been interesting, to say the least. He's the son who, like many of the younger Browns, has been influenced heavily by Robyn, who, according to insiders, has always had a very specific vision for her kids and their place in Kody's world. That's important because if this DNA test shakes things up, the influence and loyalty within the family could shift dramatically. So here's the recap. Logan has grown up thinking Kody is his father. Kody has always presented Logan as part of his lineage, and the fans, well, we've all been rooting for him in different storylines, whether it's school, relationships, or family drama. Everything seemed normal on the surface. But sometimes, the quietest members of a reality television family hold the biggest secrets. And now, suddenly, Logan is front and center in a possible bombshell that could change the family's narrative entirely. Now, here's where things get really intense. According to reports and insider chatter, a recent DNA test has suggested that Logan might not actually be Kody's biological son. And yes, this is the kind of news that immediately sends shockwaves through both the family and the fanbase. I mean, we're talking about a kid who has grown up with the assumption that his dad is Kody, and suddenly that foundation could be completely shaken. Imagine being in Logan's shoes. You've grown up seeing Kody as your father, taking advice, receiving guidance, navigating all the complicated family rules, and then boom, a DNA test potentially says otherwise. You can already imagine the emotions involved. Confusion, betrayal, maybe even anger. And the reactions we're seeing online are wild. Fans are divided. Some are saying it explains so much about certain tensions, while others are completely shocked, insisting that family bonds aren't just about biology. And of course, the family itself hasn't made a full public statement yet, which is exactly what you'd expect in situations like this. When you're dealing with a family that has been under the reality television microscope for so long, the private fallout can be just as dramatic as anything we see on camera. And that's why today, we're not just talking DNA. We're talking context, motives, and what this could mean for the Browns moving forward. Let's slow down for a minute and really think about why this DNA test is happening now, and what it could mean because the timing here is just as dramatic as the revelation itself. Logan has been part of the family for over a decade. He's grown up under Kody's roof, with cameras documenting so much of his life. And suddenly we're faced with a question that could completely rewrite his origin story. Why now? Why after all these years would this test come to light? And more importantly, who initiated it? One possibility is that Logan himself might have requested it. Maybe there's been a lingering curiosity, a sense of doubt, or some private family conversation that made him want to know the truth for himself. We've seen in many families, especially in reality television households, that the children grow up noticing inconsistencies, a father's behavior, the way they're treated compared to siblings, subtle tensions, and eventually that curiosity turns into a need for answers. Perhaps Logan finally reached the point where he wanted clarity about his own identity, not just for himself, but also for the record, especially since he's now older and capable of making these kinds of decisions independently. Another possibility is that Robyn, Logan's mother, might have been involved in some way. Over the years, Robyn has had her own complex relationship with Kody, with reports of favoritism toward her own children and some disagreements with Kody's approach to parenting. While we don't have confirmation of who actually initiated the DNA test, it's not hard to imagine that Robyn could have had reasons to clarify paternity. Perhaps it's about protecting Logan, or maybe it's about finally resolving an old family uncertainty that has been simmering behind the scenes for years. In any case, the very act of testing signals that something significant has shifted within the family dynamics. And then there's the public angle. Being in a reality television family means that nothing stays private forever, and timing often aligns with storylines that producers or insiders think will generate engagement. It's possible this revelation leaked intentionally or unintentionally in a way that maximizes attention and drama. Reality television thrives on moments like this, shocking revelations that force both the family and the audience to reevaluate everything they thought they knew. Whether it's a genuine family concern or a storyline decision, the timing of this test is critical to understanding the fallout. Now, let's talk about the possible implications of the DNA test itself. If it truly confirms that Logan isn't Kody's biological son, that could shift the hierarchy within the family. Kody has always been very invested in legacy and lineage, sometimes treating his biological children differently than stepchildren or younger kids. The possibilities of favoritism, inheritance, and even public perception regarding this family are endless. Viewers will go back and review every minute detail in the previous seasons, looking to see if Kody unconsciously treated Logan differently, whether the other siblings sensed it, or if Robyn's favoritism somehow played a role in shaping what Logan has gone through. Finally, there is emotional weight to be acknowledged here. While for Logan, Kody will always be his father in any way that counts, biology adds a layer of complication there. Feelings of betrayal, confusion, or identity questioning are very real, and these things have real-world consequences on family dynamics, not just for Logan himself but for the siblings and parents alike. And as we continue breaking this story down, we'll explore how those dynamics might evolve, who stands to gain or lose influence, and what this means for the future of the Sister Wives family. All right, besties. Now let's talk about the chaos this revelation has caused online. Naturally, the Sister Wives fan community is going absolutely wild. Social media threads, Reddit discussions, and fan forums are buzzing with speculation theories, and of course, the dramatic hot takes. Some fans are saying, this explains so much about Kody's behavior toward Logan, while others are completely shocked, insisting that family bonds go far beyond biology. And then there's the theory side of things. And you know, I love digging into these. One of the most popular ideas is that Kody may have always sensed something was off. Some fans point to subtle patterns in the show, the way Kody interacts with Logan versus his other children. Small differences in attention, or moments that seemed off camera, but were hinted at in passing dialogue. Of course, some of this is conjecture, but fans love putting the pieces together, and when a DNA test comes into play, suddenly those little hints take on a whole new meaning. Another theory making the rounds is that this revelation could actually strengthen Logan's relationship with Robyn. Fans point out that she has always been protective of her children, and often took steps to shield them from Kody's more controlling tendencies. If Logan isn't biologically Kody's. This could give Robyn even more leverage in the family dynamic. Some are even speculating whether this was part of a long-term strategy, whether intentional or not, to secure her kids' position within the household and ensure they get the attention and care she believes they deserve. Of course, not all fans are taking the DNA test seriously. There's a significant portion who are skeptical, questioning the source, the timing, or even whether the test results were leaked intentionally to stir up drama. And honestly, in reality television, that's not far-fetched. Leaks and staged moments happen all the time because controversy drives views. But whether real or exaggerated, this story is already dominating conversations. And people are hungry to see how Kody, Robyn, and the rest of the family respond publicly. Interestingly, some fans have also pointed out the potential implications for Kody himself. He's always been focused on legacy, succession, and the image of being a patriarch with a perfect plural family. If this DNA test is confirmed, it could call into question his authority and even his judgment as a father. Imagine the ripple effect, not just in the family, but in the court of public opinion. People are already questioning whether this could explain tensions between Logan and Kody that we've witnessed over the seasons, moments of distance, subtle conflicts, or favoritism toward other kids. And then, of course, there's the emotional side of fan reactions. Many viewers are expressing sympathy for Logan, recognizing the complexity of loving a father who may not be biologically yours. Fans are also empathizing with Kody, understanding that revelations like this are incredibly difficult to navigate, especially on public platforms. And that, my friends, is part of what makes this story so compelling. It's messy, emotional, and full of human complexity, exactly the kind of drama that keeps us watching. Now let's talk about Kody and Robyn and what might be going on behind the scenes. Because in situations like this, it's never just about a DNA test. It's about relationships, influence, and control within the family. Kody has always been very invested in his image as the patriarch. He likes to maintain order, project authority, and ensure that the family appears united, even when tensions are simmering below the surface. If this DNA revelation is true, it challenges not just his role as a father, but the narrative he's carefully built over years of reality television exposure. And then there's Robyn. She's always been protective of her children, especially the younger ones like Logan. Some fans have speculated that Robyn might have been aware of certain uncertainties long before this test came to light. Whether she urged Logan to take the test or was simply supportive, it could signal her desire to clarify family lines for her children. Robyn has been calculated in how she handles her relationships with Kody and the other wives, so this DNA revelation might also serve as a way to recalibrate power in the household. Think of how these motivations are going to play out. This might be perceived as a threat to Kody, not because he feels any less love for Logan, but because his position as unquestioned patriarch is rooted in lineage. If Logan isn't biologically his, then that subtly undermines Kody's authority over not just Logan but potentially the siblings. Meanwhile, Robyn may look at this as a chance to solidify her kids' place, ensuring they get attention, resources, and respect in a household that frequently struggles with favoritism and pecking order. Now, I want to point out something interesting that fans have noticed over the years: how Kody has had his moments of playing favorites, often giving preferential treatment to children from certain wives, or ones he considers closer to his ideal of the family unit. And if Logan isn't biological, some fans argue this might explain certain subtle tensions we've seen, minutes where Kody could have been more aloof, or even times where Logan's voice was quieter than others. Of course, this is speculation, but lines up with patterns longtime viewers have picked up on. Robyn, on the other hand, has always been very proactive, whether it is shielding her kids from Kody's criticisms, ensuring they have opportunities, or even influencing storylines on the show. She plays a strategic role. This DNA test could be just another layer of her efforts to safeguard her children's interests. And in the bigger picture, it also serves to illuminate something important: how reality television families often need to engage with personal drama, even while considering public perception and narrative control. So when you put Kody's need for authority together with Robyn's protective instincts, what you get is a perfect storm of motivations driving the DNA test. It is not just a question of whether Logan is biologically Kody's son. It is a matter of family dynamics, power structures, and the intricate dance of influence that has defined this family for years. Moving forward, these motivations are going to play a huge role in how this family responds to this revelation, how the fans interpret this, and what we might see in future episodes or social media updates. Let's take one moment to turn our attention to Logan, the person at the heart of it all. Because beyond the headlines, the speculation, and the drama, there is a young man who is potentially facing a life-altering revelation. Just imagine growing up, believing someone to be your father, entrusting him with everything, and then to learn that biology may tell a different story. That kind of news isn't just shocking. It may trigger a storm of emotions, confusion, doubt, even a sense of betrayal, and it is totally normal to feel all of that in a situation like this. Logan has spent his entire childhood in the spotlit glare of a reality television family with complex dynamics. He has seen favoritism, household rules, and public scrutiny firsthand. Add to that the DNA test that could, at its core, redefine his relationship with Kody, and you get a scenario that has some emotionally heavy overtones. Even if Kody has always been a father figure in every sense that matters, there is something about biology that complicates feelings, especially in families where identity and legacy are so strongly accentuated. Psychologically, this can elicit a lot of internal strife within Logan. On one hand, he is grateful and loyal to Kody for the guidance, support, and fatherly presence he has always shown. On the other hand, knowing he is possibly not biologically related may make him question the foundation of his identity. Who am I, really? How does this change my place in the family? Am I going to be treated differently by my siblings? These are all valid questions, and viewers have started to debate them heavily online, sharing empathy, speculation, and sometimes harsh opinions. Some fans have even pointed out this bombshell could affect Logan's future decisions. For example, his relationship with Kody might change. It could become more about emotional connection and less about biological ties. He may also look differently at siblings, especially if favoritism or pecking order changes based on such a revelation. And let's not forget another layer of pressure. The entire world is watching how he reacts, which can ramp up his stress and make him more cautious about how he navigates family interactions. In addition, there is trust involved. Even when Logan ultimately retains a strong relationship with Kody, learning about possible secrets or uncertainties has its psychological challenges. It is one thing to feel loved and supported. It is quite another to question suddenly whether or not your family's story aligns with the truth. Fans who have followed the show for years find it interesting how he would reconcile those emotions, and many believe that this bombshell will lead to some pretty intense on-camera conversations or private family confrontations. Lastly, Logan is not the only one feeling the impact. Other siblings, Robyn, and even Kody himself are all part of the emotional ripple. This DNA test isn't just a number on a lab report, it is a catalyst that could reshape relationships, power dynamics, and trust across the entire family. We continue next with how each key player might respond to Logan's news, the potential conflict it could spark, and how this might change the storyline for Sister Wives fans everywhere. Now, let's talk about ripple effect. Specifically, how Logan's siblings and the extended family might respond to this bombshell. Because in a family as big and intertwined as the Browns, one bombshell doesn't just affect one person, it spreads like wildfire. Imagine being one of Logan's brothers or sisters and suddenly learning your sibling might not be biologically related to your dad. That's not just shocking, it could challenge how everyone sees themselves and each other. First, let's consider the older siblings. Some fans have speculated that they may be feeling confused and protective. They grew up with Logan, and their identities and family roles were established under the assumption that Kody is the father of all children. If that assumption is questioned, the older siblings might feel called to step in, either to support Logan emotionally or to assert their own positions within the family hierarchy. It's a delicate balance, especially in a household where favoritism has played such a big part for so long. Then there's the younger siblings. For these kids, they may also be upset, particularly considering they have always looked to Kody for leadership and approval. Suddenly, the lines of loyalty and connection could be blurred. You may wonder if their place in the family is secure or if other children are being treated differently. And let's be honest, in a reality television family, even minor shifts in relationships can become major storylines. That's what fans love to watch. The dynamics between family members and any tension between siblings over Logan's status could become a focal point on the show. Now, let's not forget the extended family, the cousins, aunts, uncles, and of course, the other wives. Each of these relationships could be impacted differently. Some may sympathize with Logan, realizing he's at the center of an incredibly complex situation. Others might feel frustrated, especially if they perceive the DNA revelation as a disruption to the family's image or legacy. In a family where loyalty and hierarchy have always been paramount, even a small change in perception can have outsized consequences. Fans online are already theorizing about potential conflicts. Could this lead to new alliances among siblings? Might this create tension between Logan and Kody in ways we don't know? Will some siblings take sides with Robyn, or will they remain neutral? The possibilities are endless, and that's part of why this story is so captivating. People are not just invested in Logan's journey. They're invested in how the family as a whole responds. And finally, the extended family dynamic also matters because of how these events could impact the public narrative. Remember, the Browns live much of their lives under the camera's gaze. Any conflict between siblings or wives is not just a private family issue. It becomes part of the story that millions of viewers follow. That pressure adds an extra layer of complexity, because now every reaction is analyzed, dissected, and speculated upon by fans, insiders, and media outlets alike. And as we continue, we'll explore how this public scrutiny might influence the family's private decisions and actions moving forward. Now, let's talk about the public fallout because, as with any sister wives drama, it's never just a private family matter, it's a national spectacle. Once news of Logan's possible DNA results leaked, social media exploded. Fans took to Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit to discuss, dissect, and debate the situation. Some called it the ultimate reality television twist, while others expressed genuine concern for Logan and the family. The conversation isn't just about who's related to whom, it's about identity, loyalty, and what it means for the Browns as a public family unit. Media outlets quickly jumped on the story. Headlines ranged from dramatic speculation to more cautious analysis, all focusing on the potential fallout for Kody and Robyn. Articles are asking questions like, does this change Kody's legacy? And how will this impact the family dynamics on the show? Of course, some outlets framed it purely as reality television drama, knowing that the controversy will drive clicks, while others focused on the emotional side, the human story of Logan discovering his potential truth. Either way, the coverage has been intense. Fans are not just talking about Logan's relationship with Kody, they're also examining Robyn's role. Some speculate she might have known more than anyone expected, and others question whether this DNA revelation could shift power within the family. Is this a reason for Robyn to be in a better position now? Could she use it to protect her children's interests? Fans have been making conclusions, analyzing the past seasons, and even comparing the interactions on camera that might hint at Robyn's influence over Kody. The theories are wild, but with reality television families, they often hold a kernel of truth. Then, of course, there is the narrative surrounding the show itself. Sister Wives has always been a mix of family drama, personality clashes, and carefully structured storylines. Producers and editors thrive on moments like this, shocking revelations that can fuel episodes, generate engagement, and increase viewership. While we don't know how much of this was strategically leaked, we do know that reality television thrives on exactly these kinds of bombshells. Fans are theorizing that Logan's DNA news could make for a storyline in future episodes, especially if the family decides to address it on camera. And the fan response is fascinating. Some are empathizing with Logan, highlighting the psychological and emotional weight of learning this news. Others are debating Kody's parenting, Robyn's influence, and how sibling dynamics could change. There is even a portion of the fan base that is drawing connections to past episodes. Look for subtle hints or behaviors that might have foreshadowed this revelation. It is like a full-blown detective hunt through years of content, and it shows just how invested people are in the Browns' lives. The public fallout adds another layer to this story. It is not just a personal or familial issue. It is now part of the larger Sister Wives narrative. affecting how viewers perceive each family member, the relationships between them, and the authenticity of what we see on camera. The drama is amplified by the fact that everyone is watching, analyzing, and theorizing, and moving into the next section will break down what this DNA revelation could mean for the future of Logan's relationship with Kody and the rest of the family, both on and off camera. Now, let's dive into the future, because if Logan's DNA test confirms he isn't biologically Kody's son, the family dynamics could shift in some really unpredictable ways. Let's break down a few possible scenarios, and I am going to analyze them just like a fan theorist would while sipping on coffee and scrolling through Reddit. Scenario 1. The family fully embraces Logan regardless of biology. Kody could reaffirm his emotional bond with Logan, treating him as his son in every sense that matters. Fans who have been following the Browns for years know that Kody values legacy, but he also values family image and public perception. If he openly accepts Logan, it could send a message to fans and family alike that relationships aren't just about DNA, that love and loyalty matter too. Of course, this could create tension with siblings who may feel favoritism was or is being extended unfairly, but it would also show a more compassionate side of Kody we haven't always seen on camera. Scenario 2. Tensions rise within the household. If Kody struggles with accepting the revelation, or if Robyn and the other wives push for acknowledgement of Logan's unique status, conflicts could escalate. This is especially true if favoritism, hierarchy, and inheritance are brought into question. We could see disputes between siblings, challenges to Robyn's influence, and even behind the scenes clashes that may eventually surface on future episodes. Reality television thrives on these kinds of conflicts, so it wouldn't be surprising if some of this makes it to the screen, adding another layer of drama to the series. Scenario 3. Logan's relationship with Kody changes, but remains respectful. This is a middle ground where Logan maintains love and respect for Kody, while recognizing that their biological connection may not exist. It is a nuanced situation, one that accentuates emotional bonds over genetics. Fans who followed reality television families understand that these kinds of revelations can strengthen relationships in unexpected ways, as long as all parties are willing to communicate and navigate the emotions involved. Scenario 4. Public perception becomes a driving factor. The Browns are a reality television family, so how fans interpret this revelation may influence the family's decisions. Kody and Robyn might make choices to manage public image, crafting responses that minimize negative press and maintain viewer engagement. At the same time, Logan could choose to assert his own narrative, potentially sharing his perspective through interviews, social media, or even on-camera moments. This could redefine the family's story in ways that impact both their private lives and the show's storyline. Finally, there's the ripple effect on sibling relationships. If Logan's status changes in the eyes of the family, siblings may reassess their connections, alliances, and positions within the household. There could be moments of tension, support, or even rivalry. These dynamics are complicated by past favoritism, parental influence, and the constant public scrutiny that comes with reality television life. And if any conflict does emerge, fans are already predicting it could be one of the most dramatic seasons yet, full of emotional conversations, confrontations, and perhaps even reconciliation moments that we can't wait to see unfold. As you can see, Besties, the potential scenarios are endless, and each has a mix of personal, emotional, and public implications. The DNA test isn't just a number on a page, it's a catalyst for change, conflict, and perhaps even growth within the family. And as we continue, we'll explore how Robyn and Kody's individual strategies may shape these scenarios, and what fans can realistically expect in the coming months. Now let's break down how Robyn and Kody might be strategizing behind the scenes. Because in a family like the Browns, every decision is calculated, whether for emotional balance, family dynamics, or the show itself. Let's start with Robyn. She's always been protective of her kids, especially Logan, and this situation gives her a unique opportunity to assert influence. By supporting Logan emotionally and making sure his interests are prioritized, she could strengthen her position in the family hierarchy. Robyn's strategy might include maintaining a united front publicly while negotiating privately. She's been known to manage conflicts carefully, balancing her role as a mother and a wife, all while being conscious of how the cameras capture the family. Some fans are already speculating that she could encourage Logan to address the revelation openly, or at least control the narrative in a way that minimizes drama, while maximizing support for her child. That's a classic Robyn move. She protects her kids, preserves family stability, and maintains her influence over Kody at the same time. Now Kody's strategy might look different. Historically, he has always valued legacy, hierarchy, and authority, so learning that Logan may not be biologically his could challenge his self-image as the patriarch. Some fans think Kody might double down on emotional connections, emphasizing love and fatherhood beyond genetics, while others suspect he could retreat, creating distance or tension. It's hard to predict because Kody has always been complex, sometimes overbearing, sometimes surprisingly considerate, and this situation tests every aspect of his role in the family. An interesting angle to consider is how Kody and Robyn might coordinate their responses. In a reality television context, appearances matter. They may want to appear calm, collected, and united, even if tensions are brewing behind the scenes. This could involve careful conversations with the other wives, guiding siblings on how to approach Logan, and managing public perception to prevent unnecessary backlash. Fans have seen this pattern before, a mixture of private negotiation and public performance, and it's likely to happen here as well. Another key part of their strategy could involve communication with Logan. Ensuring that he feels supported, understood, and protected will be crucial, especially if he decides to share his feelings publicly or with family members. The Browns have always been under scrutiny, and handling this revelation poorly could create long-term fallout. Robyn's influence will likely be central in this process, advocating for Logan's emotional well-being and ensuring that Kody understands the potential impact of his words and actions. Finally, there's the reality television element. Both Robyn and Kody know that fans are watching, and that every reaction could shape the narrative. Strategically, they might choose to control when and how details are shared, whether in interviews, social media posts, or on-camera moments. This approach allows them to manage both family dynamics and public perception simultaneously. And as fans, we can already predict the drama, emotional moments, and possibly even confrontations that could make for some of the most compelling episodes in Sister Wives history. Now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. This DNA revelation could have long-term consequences for Logan, Kody, Robyn, and the entire Sister Wives family. Because in families like this, one bombshell doesn't just create short-term drama. It can reshape relationships, power dynamics, and even the family's public narrative for years to come. First, let's focus on Logan. Even if Kody and the family fully embrace him, the knowledge that he may not be biologically related could influence how he sees himself and his role in the family. Fans are already discussing the potential for identity shifts, confidence challenges, or even new bonds forming with certain siblings or family members. On the flip side, this revelation could also empower him, giving him a stronger voice, a sense of autonomy, and clarity about his place in the family structure. It's a pivotal moment that could define his personal and emotional development moving forward. Next, Kody's legacy is at stake. He has always been conscious of his image as a patriarch and a public figure. If this revelation becomes widely known, fans may question his parenting, decision-making, and even his relationships with his other children. That could lead Kody to reflect, adjust, or even attempt to reinforce his emotional ties with all of his children. Some fans believe this could finally force him to confront favoritism, hierarchy, and how he has treated each child over the years. It is a tough position to be in, especially when under the microscope of the general public. In Robyn's case, the long-term consequences include her children and her status in the family. She has been very supportive of Logan now, but this could cement her position even more. Yet, at the same time, it may also create some kind of friction with Kody or the other wives as the revelation changes the dynamics of the family. Fans speculate that she may well continue to fight for her children's interests, to make sure Logan feels embraced and appreciated, no matter about biology. This can actually affect how the family interacts with one another, how decisions are made, and even how the show portrays the family in the future. The siblings' relationships may change too. The questions of favoritism, legacy, and hierarchy might bring some closer together, while tensions may arise between others. The fan community speculates on alliances, rivalries, and how this will play out both on screen and off. Reality television families often face long-term repercussions from major plot reveals, and the Browns aren't an exception. Finally, the public storyline remains the most important. Viewers, media stories, and social media communities are already forming opinions about the family. The DNA bombshell may hint at how viewers perceive Kody, Robyn, and Logan in the long term, perhaps changing popularity, storylines, and even opportunities for media presence in the future. Every word, reaction, and decision the family will make will be put under the test, and it can have long-term implications in terms of their public image. So as you can see, besties, this isn't just someone off-drama moment. For Logan, Kody, Robyn, and the rest of the family, the implications are immense, emotional, and potentially life-changing. And in our last part, we'll be going through what this story really means for viewers and fans, the lessons we get, the takeaways, and why this is one revelation we won't forget anytime soon. All right, besties, we've reached the final part of this roller coaster story, and let's take a moment to unpack what it all really means. Logan's possible DNA bombshell isn't just a plot twist for sister wives, but a reminder of how complex family dynamics can be, especially when fame, legacy, and public scrutiny collide. Families, no matter how large or unique, face challenges, and this situation puts those challenges front and center for everyone to see. First, let's discuss the reaction of the fans. The reaction has been tremendous as people debate, theorize, and sympathize. It shows just how invested viewers are in the Browns' lives, and why reality television continues to captivate audiences. Beyond the drama, fans are learning to appreciate the emotional complexity involved, the heartbreak, confusion, love, and loyalty that exist, even in the most unusual family situations. For Logan, the takeaway is personal growth and resilience. Whether or not he is biologically Kody's son, he has lived as part of this family, experienced love and protection, and developed his identity. This revelation can be empowering, helping him navigate relationships with clarity and self-awareness. It is a testament to the fact that family isn't just about DNA, it is about connection, trust, and shared experiences. For Kody, the lesson may be about reflection and emotional awareness. A patriarch isn't defined solely by biology or legacy, but by how he nurtures and supports every child under his care. This is a chance to reaffirm his role as a father and to confront favoritism, hierarchy, and long-held assumptions. How he responds could shape the family's relationships and public perception for years to come. Robyn's role remains crucial. She has always been protective of her children, strategic in her influence, and careful in navigating family tensions, supporting Logan. Advocating for her children yet keeping cohesion in the family is no easy task, and this moment brings into view just how critical her presence and decision-making are in the family dynamic. Lastly, the lasting impact to viewers is further enlightenment on human relationships. The drama, speculation, and emotional fallout are engaging, but they also remind one of the messy, unpredictable nature of families. Loyalty, trust, identity, and love are called into question at a moment like this, and whether you are watching from the couch or living it, there is a universal to be learned about navigating complexity, embracing uncertainty, and cherishing relationships over simple definitions of family. So, besties, that is the full story. Logan's DNA test bombshell, how Kody, Robyn, and the siblings might react, and what it all means for the family and the fans. It is emotional, messy, and utterly captivating. Just the type of storyline that forever cements sister wives in our memory. Now I want to hear from you guys. How do you think Logan will take the news? Will Kody rise to the occasion and be the father figure, or will tensions rise? Throw your thoughts in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe so you never miss another dramatic update. Thanks for following, besties. Until next time.